Hello, my name is Bizri. Welcome to the third episode of the FIP CPD Bite series, Beyond Medication Strengthening Trust, Empathy, and Loyalty in Pharmacy Patients Interaction. This episode is focused on demonstrating empathy. In this episode, we'll explore the role of empathy in patient care, especially in the context of managing common ailments. Well, if we look at particular ways in which pharmacists can demonstrate empathy during patient interaction, even in fast-paced settings, we're going to understand what's going on. And finally, we'll consider how empathic communication can improve patient satisfaction, build the trust, and lead to better outcomes in the treatment of common ailments. While there are several core values that shape pharmacist-patient interaction, this CPD Bite series focuses on three essential values: trust, loyalty, and empathy. These are not just communication skills, they are fundamental principles that guide how we support self-care and manage common ailments in everyday practice. In this episode, we will focus on empathy, a value at the heart of patient-centered care, in-centered care. Empathy allows us to connect with our patients on a human level, to understand their concern, and to respond with compassion and support. It's not just about what we say, but how we say it, and how we make patients feel heard, respected, and reassured. In this episode, we will see how simple choices like showing understanding, validating emotions, or adapting our tone can transform a routine consultation into a meaningful experience for the patient. While this episode highlights empathy, we also keep in mind the importance of trust and loyalty, as these values are interconnected and strengthen each other in daily pharmacy practice. You may check the other two CPD Bites episodes in the series that focus on both trust and loyalty. Throughout this episode, we will explore why empathy matters in everyday pharmacy practice, particularly when supporting patients with common ailments. We will also look at the impact of empathy on patient experience. Using a scenario-based approach, we will also highlight simple, effective communication techniques that pharmacists can use to demonstrate empathy and build meaningful connection with their patients. I would like to say that the scenario presented in this video is for demonstration purposes only. It is intended to highlight selected communication and social skills in a pharmacy setting. It does not take into account the full range of clinical and non-clinical factors that a pharmacist or pharmacy technician must consider when conducting a comprehensive patient assessment and making appropriate recommendations. Let's take a moment to consider this scenario. Amy, a young woman, approaches Salma, the pharmacist, looking uncomfortable. She quietly asks if there's anything strong for period pain. She later explains that the medicines she has tried haven't really helped. How should the pharmacist approach this patient with empathy? This is an important opportunity to think about how we respond when patients are in pain and feeling vulnerable. As we walk through this scenario, consider not just what you would recommend, but how you would listen, how you would reassure, and how you would create a safe space for the patients to speak openly. What we are going to show you now is a missed opportunity, a moment when Salma, the pharmacist, could have demonstrated empathy and support, but instead the interaction fell short. Let's take a look at what happened. It's a regular day at the pharmacy. Amy, a young woman, approaches the counter, clearly uncomfortable. In a quiet voice, she explains that her period pain has been quite bad and she's unsure what to take. It's a moment that calls for empathy, reassurance, and space to speak openly. But Salma, the pharmacist, responds with a neutral, transactional tone, casually dismissing the pain as ordinary period cramps that everyone experiences. She briefly points Amy to the painkillers in aside, the three there, and adds that she should see a doctor if the pain persists. The lack of empathy or follow-up may have left Amy feeling dismissed. There was no attempt to explore her concerns or offer personalized support, just a quick response and a missed opportunity. The conversation ends with Amy saying, "Okay, thanks," before walking away, still in discomfort and without feeling truly heard. Before we move on, take a moment to reflect. What was missing in Salma's response? And how could the small shift in tone and attention have made Amy feel more understood and more likely to seek help again? As we reflect in the previous scenario, let's take a break. Let's break down why this was a missed opportunity to demonstrate empathy. First, there was no acknowledgement of Amy's discomfort or concern. She approached the counter visibly anxious and in pain, but the pharmacist Salma didn't offer any words of reassurance or recognition. Second, there were no follow-up or clarifying questions. Amy mentioned her period pain has worsened and her usual medicines were not helping. But Salma didn't ask what she had already taken or tried, how long it has been going on, and or how it was affecting her day-to-day life. There was also a noticeable lack of compassion. The response was clinical and detached, focusing only on the transaction without creating a space where Amy could feel safe to share more. As a result, Amy left the pharmacy feeling unheard and unsupported, still in pain and likely hesitant to return for help in the future. By the end of this episode, we will explore how small changes in tone, words, and attention can help create more empathic, patient-centered interaction, especially in moments when patients are feeling vulnerable and unsure. Why does empathy in pharmacy matter? Empathy creates a safe space for patients to share more openly about symptoms or concerns, ask a question without fear of judgment, feel understood and respected. When empathy is present, patients perceive care as genuine. Trust is strengthened, long-term relationships and patient loyalty are more likely to develop. Empathy plays an important role in enhancing treatment, adherence, and improving patients' outcomes, particularly regarding minor ailments. When pharmacists demonstrate empathy, patients are more likely to adhere to treatment when they feel heard and respected, follow up and report side effects on progress, engage in self-care when they trust the advice given. Patient may forget the exact words you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel. Let's take a moment to explore some practical ways to demonstrate empathy in day-to-day patient interaction. First, active listening is essential. This involves giving patients full attention, avoiding interruption, and focusing not just on the words being said, but also on how they are expressed. Paraphrasing and clarifying can also be effective. Simple phrases such as, "So what I am hearing is," or "just to make sure I understand," indicate engagement and a genuine effort to understand the patient's experience accurately. Personalized communication makes a significant impact. Addressing patients by name and, when appropriate, referring to previous visits or concerns helps convey memory, continuity, and care for the individual's journey. Verbal expression of empathy are equally important. Phrases like, "That sounds difficult," "I am really sorry that you feel that," or "I am really sorry to hear that," or "I understand this must be frustrating," can offer reassurance and emotional support. Nonverbal communication also plays a critical role. Maintaining eye contact, using open body posture, nodding, and displaying gentle facial expressions contribute to a safe, compassionate environment. A calm tone reinforces a sense of trust and care. Finally, allowing time and space for patients to speak without rushing can be powerful. Silence, when used intentionally, creates space for reflections and help patients feel genuinely heard. Pharmacists need to ensure they maintain empathy while also adhering to professional boundaries and responsibilities. This can be done by setting clear boundaries while remaining approachable, maintaining neutrality and avoiding personal judgment, showing compassion without overstepping, ensuring privacy and confidentiality at all times, such as using a consultation room when needed, asking permission before discussing sensitive topics, respecting patient autonomy, even if their choices differ from your recommendation. Now, let's take a look on how the interaction could have gone differently. Feel free to pause here and read through the conversation and read through the conversation. In this version, the pharmacist Salma takes a more compassionate and attentive approach. Her gentle tone and open posture help create a safe space for the patient, Amy, to express her concern. She immediately acknowledged Amy's discomfort with a validating response. I'm sorry to hear that. That must be really difficult to deal with every month. Rather than jumping to a solution, Salma asked an open-ended question regarding the patient's pain management method. This small shift invites Amy to share more of her experience, helping Salma better understand her needs. As the conversation continues, Salma listens actively, responds with care, and builds on what Amy shares. She takes a moment to thank Amy for opening up and reassures her by saying, "It is important you feel better and that you have options to manage your period pain now and in the future." Importantly, Salma takes a collaborative approach, saying, "We can go over a few options together, and I'll let you know if it's best to follow up with the doctor. You are not alone in this." This not only provides guidance, but also comfort, reminding Amy that she is supported. In this interaction, empathy is expressed through tone, posture, words, and presence. The result is a patient who feels heard, respected, and reassured. It's a simple but powerful example of how thoughtful communication can transform a routine consultation into a meaningful one that builds connection, trust, and confidence to return. This scenario highlights several important strategies for demonstrating empathy and delivering patient-centered care. First, the pharmacist acknowledges the patient's pain and emotional distress. This small act of recognition helps validate the patient's experience. It helps also, it see this experience as an essential steps in creating a safe and supportive environment. Second, the tone used throughout the interaction is calm and compassionate. Even before offering any solutions, the pharmacist communicates care and understanding through their voice and presence, helping the patients feel at ease. The pharmacist is also clarifying questions, inviting the patient to share more about their experience. This is not only showing interest, but also ensures that any advice given is based on a full pictures of the patient's need. Next, there is a strong sense of reassurance and personalized guidance. Rather than delivering generic instructions for the patients, the pharmacist works with the patient to explore options together, reinforcing a sense of partnership. And finally, the outcome speaks for itself. The patient leaves feeling safe, supported, and respected. These kinds of interaction strengthen relationships and create an experienced patient's reminder one they are likely to return to. In this scenario, what really made an effective difference to the interactive, especially within the realm of self-care and management of minor ailments, was the approach that the pharmacist used when engaging with the patient. If it was in the missed opportunity, the interaction felt rushed and impersonal. There was no emotional acknowledgement, no follow-up questions, and only limited guidance, leaving the patients feeling dismissed and unsupported. In contrast, the more effective approach began with validating the patient discomfort, and the pharmacist used a calm, reassuring tone and took time to clarify symptoms and explore the patient history. Rather than offering a quick fix, the pharmacist provided supportive, collaborative, and next steps involving the patients in the conversation and showing genuine care. These small but meaningful actions can transform a routine consultation into a respectful, empathic interaction that builds trust and confidence in the pharmacy care. In summary, empathy transforms the pharmacy counter into a place of care. Pharmacists who demonstrate empathy build stronger relationships, improve health outcomes, foster loyalty and trust. So our key takeaway from this episode, empathy means more than offering treatment. It means offering care. Finally, we would like to highlight the FIP Knowledge and Skill Reference Guide for Pharmacists Supporting Self-Care. This guide adapts the competence and behavioral statements from the WHO Self-Care Competency Framework and is designed to support pharmacists in developing the essential knowledge and skills needed to effectively advocate for and deliver patient-centered self-care interventions. In particular, it focuses on the competence required to strengthen communication and shared decision-making with patients, as outlined in Document 2 and 3 of the document. You can scan the QR code to access this document or visit the FIP website selfcare.fip.org for more information. Thank you very much.